Hey, experts listeners, I want to key you into something that we do very special here at Ops Experts Club, and that's a masterclass. We have a free masterclass called Foundations That Scale. And the great thing about this masterclass is it's for operation professionals who are growing businesses. One of the most dangerous things you can do as an operator is grow businesses on a foundations that's not stable. So in this particular masterclass, we take apart all of the inside pieces of your team, your tech, and how they're using time. And we make sure that you're building on a foundation that's stable. So if you want to check out a great masterclass completely for free, go to foundationsthatscale.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the Ops Experts Club with Aaron, Terryn, and Savannah. This podcast will take you behind the scenes of some of the finer details of multi-million-dollar companies. These ops experts have dealt with operations for scaling companies and well-established businesses with anywhere from small to large teams. If you've ever been deep into the details of a major company, then you know how much it takes, and these conversations are just for you. Welcome to the Ops Experts Club podcast.
Ops Experts Club. Terryn, dance moves? Dude, if people could see those right now, they'd be so freaking jealous.
Yeah, which funny because it turns out people can see it if they watch on YouTube.
That's true. That's a shameless plug. Tune in on YouTube. You'll be able to see all of Terryn Turner's amazing dance moves. The things you didn't know about Terryn Turner. Farmer. Old Mick Turner had a farm. Our dude is a farmer. He's got a ranch. Number two, he used to play drums quite a bit. He's a drummer. And number three, he's got incredible dance moves.
Yes, those are all facts.
I love it.
Yeah.
Terryn Turner, I thought today for our ops experts, it'd be a great topic. Those of you tuning in today, today's ops experts, always, anytime you tune in, not just today, is for helping you with your backend operations. It's helping you for the back end of your business where maybe most people aren't spending a lot of focusing and time, but that's usually a lot of the time, the devil's in the details. That's where you lose a lot of money. That's where you lose a lot of momentum, is just not having good systems. Ops Experts Club is all about tightening up the systems of your business. We've got a free masterclass called foundationsthatscale.com. You go there, get 3 hours of free content. I think it's actually 4. I threw in a bonus on making sure the foundation of your business is solid so that as you build up, the thing doesn't fall over. So anyway, I thought today, Terryn, it would be great for us to talk about how much is too much. Because I think that's what we do for a lot of businesses. We're in 33 accounts right now. We got 22 players playing for the Collab team. I think one of the things we see most is not paralysis by analysis. Sometimes I wish we got a little more paralyzed by analyzing. I think what we get paralyzed by is too much coming down the pike that it chokes out the visionary, chokes out the current team, and it leads to burnout.
Yes. Too many can sometimes lead to things not getting done with enough time and attention on it. Rather sometimes to focus more time on one thing than fragments of time on too many things.
Yeah. I've really noticed, and people don't always like this, but I don't think you can convince me it's not true. And that is, number one, Sasquatch is real. Just kidding. Number one, that as goes the captain, so goes the ship. And what I mean by that is, if you're always scrambled, if you're always overwhelmed, if you're always doing too much, your people by proxy are going to feel the same way, because it's very, very likely that you're shoving down onto your people a lot of the things that you're feeling internally, which means you're probably not showing up as the best leader. You're probably not giving them enough attaboys, attagirls, giving them appreciation, right? You're probably not even able to look very far forward because you're so dang overwhelmed by what you're in the immediate. And honestly, I think a lot of it is you have to slow down to speed up. Like, I think it's too many irons in the fire, man, too many initiatives, too many big things happening at once. And you changing your mind mid thing that you said was a big deal last time because you got bored, or you got, like, you're not seeing the progress you want. So you just scrap it. And then what you indirectly do is stack more initiatives on people because they weren't done building this one yet. And it just doesn't feel good to stack something else on them.
Yeah, sure. What to say about that one?
Yeah, sure. Terryn says, as he's underneath so many initiatives by so many visionaries that it's
I've been stacked.
Oh man. So let me give you some examples. Probably for most visionaries, you're thinking about top line, right? Knocking down more dollars because you're worried about the bottom line. And let's be frank, you probably don't even understand your bottom line all that well. A lot of visionaries don't understand the P&Ls, the profit loss. They don't understand how their money works necessarily. All they know is that their monthly nut feels so big. They're like, man, we have so much money going out. We got to cut that down. but I'm going to keep driving initiatives that requires more people. So then like more initiatives requires more labor, and they don't understand their ratios. And a lot of times it's because we're trying to do too many things at once, right? So if you have a big push where you want a front end build, let's say you want to build out a new funnel because you have a new product that you want offered. And with that funnel build comes not only what you're putting into that funnel, so the copy, the assets, the product build out, all of the communication that comes out before you make the offer and after you make the offer, let alone the fulfillment that you're building on the back of that, right? All the communication that comes out for fulfillment, all of the member portals, maybe if you're an online entrepreneur teaching education that have to be built out. And there's a whole set of things that go with that. So you say, we need to roll out a new product offering. And to do that, it's going to cost you money because you have to pour money on the front end ads, right? So then we got to, if you don't have an internal ads team, you got to either go procure one or spend more money to have one that does that for you. So all of those things are initiatives that build up that end up costing you more money and more time. The question is then, it's probably not the best time to roll out a big software change. You know what I mean? Like a big platform change, or to make a big change in your internal team, right? Because like if your attention right now is on a big initiative that you're rolling out, don't freaking take your eyes off the ball, man. Like that's where everybody's attention's on that, because that has to work. We need that to succeed. But if you start splitting the team's attention to start looking at other big initiatives that are on the plate, and maybe you don't recognize them because that's not your end of the field, but you've asked your team to fix something. So they're rolling out a new project management tool, or they're rolling out a new CRM. That's even scarier. Or they're rolling out, let's let go of this team member. Let's go hire on these people. So they're onboarding people or interviewing people. All of that's initiative burn, right? All of that takes time and energy from your team. So you need to ask yourself, what are the big initiatives that we're working on now? And the US would call those rocks, right, Terryn?
Right. Yeah. Love me some rocks.
Dude, rock parties are the best. Tight leathers, big hair, lots of loud music, and some good initiatives for every quarter.
Yep. Milestones to track.
If it's not trackable, it's not going to happen, right? If it's not metric and you can't measure, are people moving this thing? Let me tell you what that looks like. That looks like something really fun to say at the beginning of a quarter and really disappointing by the end because nobody kept up with their milestones. And it's very good for your people to show up on a weekly meeting. We really lean heavy into EOS. If you just tuning in for the first time, EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System, from the book Traction by Gino Wickman. Level 10 meetings is what he'd advocate for. In those level 10 meetings, you should be looking at your quarterly initiatives, which they call rocks, every single week to see, are people hitting their fixed date milestones? Hey, you said you were going to have this phase done by 9/11, or the date it is today. Is it done or is it not done? Which, man, just condolences, heart goes out. 9/11 is a big day. I don't want to pass over that date without saying, I know it's a big day. A lot of people carry heaviness over it. Totally get that. But September 11th is today. I had deliverables due today. Is it done or is it not done? And when people have to put off track because I didn't get my milestones done, it's like in front of the whole room, they're going to look not great. And I'm telling you what, there's something that moves people when they don't look great in front of others.
Yeah. I don't want people to feel bad when they put something off track.
Kind of do. Terryn, I'm off track on some of my rocks for a collab team. And that's why I just ditched the L10 today. I'm like, I can't look Terryn in the face one more meeting and look like I'm off track on my rocks. Not that I'm advocating pitching level 10 meetings. And I didn't just pitch it. Those of you who are listening, I had to present today, but it is kind of funny because some of my rocks are off track. And I'll tell you what, as a leader, I feel the weight of that. So I think that like visionaries, if you're part of a weekly meeting, which I suggest you would be, and you take on quarterly rocks, which I think you should take on at least one or two, I would say, make sure it's something you can get done, because you're not setting a good precedent if your rocks are always off track. It's just not a good thing. And I've been really feeling that this quarter. And it's really challenged me on what I'm giving my yes to for next quarter. I'm telling you what, I think that too often we try and take too big of a bite and then we fail at it. But if we're not careful, we set a precedent for our people that it's okay to not get your quarterly rocks done. And I don't think it's a good look. And if you have multiple initiatives, that if Terryn Turner in his, what's it called? A conglomerate journey? In the conglomerate journey of Turner, he would tell you like too many rocks leads to a rock slide. And that's just not good. Unless you want magma, right, Terryn?
Yeah. Rocks are great for magma, pre-magma.
So I would say just being really honest with, do you have too much going on? And the best way to do that is put it all on one place. Put it all, if you've got a task management tool like Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, drop your rocks in there and assign them out to people. And then ask yourself, is this doable? Is this realistic? But guess what? If you're not documenting it, or just we have great sheets, we'd love to give you our sheets if you want to check it out. We have a free masterclass that talks about the ops, what's it called? Ops X? Is that what it's called, Terryn? Ops Accelerator? We'd love to check it out. You can just go to our website, thecollabteam.com. You can see it. You can just opt in on the front page. It'll take you there to it, but we'll give you all of our templates for free. But I would say if it's on a Google sheet, if it's in a project management tool, get them documented somewhere and ask yourself, is this doable before you start the quarter? And then if you all agree, the whole room agrees that it's doable, then you put the pedal to the metal. Terryn prompted me just this week, which I love about Terryn. He shot over a comment on my rock and he said, hey, how you doing on this? Status update? Is it still off track? And I thought, that little fricker. Yes, it is still off track. And thank you, accountability, because I want the accountability, because I want to be a good leader. And so I think, man, too many irons in the fire can lead to your own personal failing, you not showing up well as a leader. This is honest confessions right now. Honest confessions by Aaron Hovivian. Like, you're not showing up well as a leader. You're not giving a good example to the team because you want your team to show up and get their stuff done.
Yeah. And I think as somebody who's in charge and assigning rocks or visionary or somebody of a company, I think it's very important to get a realistic understanding of what a rock is going to take somebody to complete, because you might not understand everything behind the rock as somebody who's not the specialist of that rock. And so that also helps people get less rocks is, ask them, hey, how long does this actually take? Is this like 2 weeks? You can have this whipped out? Or is this like 2 months? What are we talking about here? And if you don't know, ask. Otherwise, it could sound easy to you. And then this person just keeps getting more rocks without realizing that these are actually take a lot longer than somebody may think.
Yeah. So let me give you an example, because I think sometimes it can get really abstract. So let's say you have a customer service person that's part of your team. Rocks are different than job description duties, right? Like, their duty in the day-to-day is answering emails. Maybe if you have phone calls, answering phone calls, like helping people where they get stuck, helping people with access, like they've got a whole job description around what their job is. A rock would be, hey, we want to roll out a new ticketing software. Well, that's great. That's probably something that a customer service person is going to have a lot of influence in, right? They've got a lot of like messages that they can templatize and make into what a lot of platforms would call them macro, right? So they've got a lot of the data, the knowledge base that you're going to need. They are going to need to get trained on it. If they're not rolling it out themselves, maybe they can roll it out themselves, but if they can't roll it out themselves, they're going to need training on it. They're going to need to be able to probably train other people on their team if they're not the only person. If you're using people offshore, then you're going to need somebody that's going to be able to train the people that are using the machine. That is something different than somebody's job description, right? Because the job description assumes that you have what they need, the medium, to be able to do their job, right? If you roll out a new medium, that's a rock. And you need to be honest with yourself on, how long is that going to take? Do I have somebody on my team that can actually do the tech of that? We roll out customer service platforms all the time for people. And you probably need somebody that's decently technical and somebody that's got the bandwidth that's not drowning under customer response, right? If they're already drowning under customer response in their day-to-day job description, that rock's not realistic. And get to the end of the quarter and you're going to be frustrated because you spent the ticket amount to be able to buy the membership to be able to build it. But the person you left to build it just does not have the bandwidth to do it because of their day-to-day job description. So I think being really realistic on how much bandwidth does this player have before I assign them a rock, because they may have all the skill, they may have the best of intention, but if they don't have the time, like, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. You like that one, Turn? That was a good one. I nailed that one.
The new ones.
Yes.
I've not heard that one. Finally. Oh, thank you, Aaron.
It's for you. So that was a farmer joke. It was a farmer analogy.
Yeah, got it. You can squeeze blood out of corn, though.
Yeah, you could. That's a good thing I didn't step. Man, I could have misstepped. Oh man, that would have been catastrophic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's a great example. It's that in that situation too, it's kind of a different example of, it doesn't really matter how much time you took. It was assigned to somebody who doesn't have time.
That's right. I would say that the example in my mind would be, so where would this start? So for us at the Collab team, we'll usually start a client with a gap analyzer, right? Where we inventory everybody's roles, how much time it takes to do the daily duties, weekly duties, monthly duties, what make up their job, right? And then from there, as we're helping team to shoulder their load, a lot of times there are projects that'll peel off. Maybe they're taking way too long in the inbox. So sounds like you need a customer management tool, right? So we would love to help you roll out a customer management tool. At that point in the decision-making, it's added to a list, right? These are rock ideas. We bring all the rock ideas after we inventory everybody's stuff. Everybody's got some good ideas. Maybe you ask the team on a weekly meeting, hey, everybody drop a rock idea into the rock idea sheet. You come back the next week and you're like, okay, let's decide which one of these are a priority right now and which one of our priority maybe downstream. So then you prioritize the ones that are most important. And then you ask yourself, of this collective list, do we all agree we can get these things done based on the team that's here? We all say, yeah, we can do that. We start assigning them out to people. I think that's when we start asking ourselves, as we assign them out to people, don't just assume your customer service person is going to have the bandwidth to do that. That might not work at all. And then you're going to get discouraged. And then you're going to have a choking point of too many initiatives in the fire, because even though y'all agreed to it, like the collective bandwidth of time, that person, they're not a good player. So maybe hiring an outside person like the Collab team to come in and help you set it up so that all your customer service person has to do is just clip in and learn. And there's going to be some learning curve, but they don't have to be part of the whole entire project. The rock can be assigned to somebody else, maybe third party outside. And maybe you assign that customer service person to manage that vendor. Hey, they need to have weekly check-ins to tell you where they're at, but then it's a much easier lift. So I think that's where my mind was at in bringing that up as an example of how many initiatives do you have? Did you all agree on these initiatives at the beginning? Did you assign them, and do you have enough bandwidth on the team to do that internally? Do you need to think about bringing in more external team if those priorities, or can we cut back on some of the priorities and determine, I just don't think we have either the dollars or the time or the desire to be able to do that much right now. And it's much better to decide that at the front than in the middle of all these projects where you have too many irons in the fire, too many people working on too many things. And it's just overwhelm. Your people are in a constant state of overwhelm.
Yeah. And I love the rocks because, as talking about too many irons in the fire, you can easily point out, okay, we want to put a new iron in the fire. Which one would you like me to take out?
That's right.
I can only do this many.
That's right. And I think that, honestly, even though the visionary does not like that conversation, I think realistically it's a help. It's a help to him. It's a help to her, the visionary at the top, to see, hey, we all committed to these big initiatives. So I only have this much bandwidth, which means if you have a new thing you want me to do, that means I need to pause one of these other things. And you need to make that decision, Mr. Visionary, Miss Visionary, because I'm trying to be successful at what we all decided that we were going to do together. And there's some times that you do need to make a pivot. I would say really hold or realize at the beginning when they're making their rocks up that this is a fool's errand. This is a waste of time because we're not even going to ever stick to any of these rocks anyway. So I think part of leadership growth is just because you're visionary, just because you have shiny object syndrome does not mean you should choke that down into your team, because I think that you're going to have a lot of frustration and a lot of people that just burn out and don't want to operate at that kind of a level.
Yeah. Yep. The good old strategy change. Showing up on the rock list.
Pivot. Yep. Which, listen, let's acknowledge every visionary we work with struggles with this. This is probably the biggest struggle we see, is something new and shiny, because you like starting things. You don't like finishing things, right? And so of course you always have something new you want to start, but I would say the way that businesses grow healthy is when they grow with strong foundation. They grow with building blocks, right? So this new thing that you're picking somebody up off of what they were working on and moving forward, ask yourself, am I developing something good that's going to be a stable foundation, or is this a one-off that's a maybe? I think visionaries a lot of times get sucked into one-off maybes, and then they pull the team out of something that might have been, I would say your rock should be building towards an annual goal. So the way we got to these rocks at the beginning was it was going to get us somewhere. If you throw off a random maybe into there somewhere, is that still getting us to our goal? And is it going to build at the same increment? Because a lot of rocks, I would say, build on each other. Yes, we tied that off. Awesome, got it completed. That now becomes this, and we stack the next level on it. And the next quarter, we're going to stack this level on it. And you're asking your people to think proactively, to think like a visionary would. What's going to meet our annual vision? But what doesn't meet annual vision a lot of times is one-off, knee-jerk. I saw my friend do this, and I think it's going to be really good for us. And I think we need to be really, really careful as visionaries of trying to pose that on team instead of, no, steady growth I'm going to hold my people accountable to is going to win every time over one-off maybes.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Aaron.
Nope. I don't do questions.
I have an answer for you.
Okay. I love
in the
that.
form of a question.
Okay. I'll take it.
if you got too many irons in the fire, can you just make the fire bigger?
Yeah, I think you can, but it's going to take more team, right?
And I think what I mean by that is like maybe not even the team bigger. What if you hold somebody outside in for a new idea?
Yeah. Pedro Adeo used to talk about wanting to build a SWAT team. Is that what you mean? Like somebody on the outside? Is that what you mean by it?
No, like somebody who's going to do everything for you. Like, what if you have a new idea and you know your team's burdened? So you're going to invest in an agency that's going to do everything.
Yep. The word agency is a 4-letter cuss word to a lot of folks. I am not one of those people. I think that the key with any agency is a schedule and a timeline and accountability. But Terryn's exactly right. Could I outsource this to somebody that would be a one and done, one-time price, that they're going to bring me a finished result? And then can I add that iron in? I would say, yeah, because you increased your bandwidth, right? Like maybe it's not a full-time hire on your team. You just outsource it to that agency to give you a finished product for your people to maintain. So in my mind, yeah, I think that's totally smart, Terryn.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, ops experts, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Terryn, it's always a pleasure. I think it's very important
Thanks,
how much of a fire you're building. And do we have enough fire tenders here to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. I thought my analogies were good today. I felt like I really nailed them.
Yes. Now go out there and catch that bird.
2 birds, same bush. Awesome. Have a great day, ops experts. We'll see you here next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ops Experts Club podcast. New episodes available every week on Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're curious about how some of the biggest names in entrepreneurship have scaled their businesses to the next level, check out some of our best content on this topic by going to foundationsthatscale.com. You can find the link in our bio and do your part to improve as an ops expert.